Welcome back to Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper. Holmes and Watson have just finished examining the second murder scene.
Holmes has been locked away in his room for days, always saying the same things. I'm thinking, Watson. Very good, Watson. As you wish, Watson. But I am thinking too, so much so that I can't sleep. Annie Chapman. Good Lord.
So Sherlock Holmes has been locked inside his room for 3 whole days doing nothing. That's super boring. Why isn't he trying to solve the mystery? He's just hiding in his bedroom. That's weird.
Holmes, are you there? Are you sleeping?
I'm thinking, Watson.
Are you ever going to quit these 4 walls? If you continue to shut yourself away like this, I will have to abandon the story of your adventures and write an essay on the fascinating colour of this closed door.
Very good, Watson.
Stop ignoring me! Didn't you say that we need to assess the case of this madman? I, too, can be driven mad, Holmes. I'll order Mrs. Hudson to stop bringing you food. I'll get some straw and a can of lamp oil and smoke you out like a common fox. And if you still don't come out, I'll...
As you wish, Watson.
Oh, Holmes, I despair of you.
Maybe Holmes does have a point. It's like, Watson, you talk too much. That's why he doesn't pay attention to you. Maybe that's it. Well, the one thing that will get Sherlock Holmes to come out of his bedroom, finally, is to mess around with this bottle. Remember this bottle? The bottle that Dr. Tumblety left behind?
Holmes examined the broken jar that belonged to Finley's tenant. I wonder what this substance is. I don't recognize the odour.
Formalin, Watson. This jar contained formalin. Interesting, don't you think? I've been waiting for something for days. Just the tiniest bit of news that would make sense of this whole matter. But there's nothing, neither from the press nor the police. Unless Inspector Aberline is holding on to some information without realizing its importance, which is quite possible. It is time for you to return to the police station in Whitechapel, Watson. And didn't you tell me that you had a matter to take care of it? Take advantage of it to learn more about this pill and its contents.
Ah, but Holmes, it's late, and spending another night in this district is hardly my idea of entertainment.
I know, Doctor, but we don't have any choice. Time is against us. Take your pistol in case you run into any troublesome characters.
Fine, as you wish, Holmes.
But seriously, Holmes, you could have visited the police at any point during the last 3 days. I'm sure they would have come up with something useful, right? Maybe? Alright, so once again, it's late at night. Let's go to the police station.
Good evening. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
Not at all, Doctor. This man, Mr. Richardson, is a witness to the horrid affair at 29 Hanbury Street, the murder of Annie Chapman. We are discussing the relevance of his testimony.
Ah, witness testimony.
You're probably not in a position to discuss it with me, but I would like to know more about what you call the relevance of this young man's testimony.
Oh, there's no secrecy. It's simply that the testimony given by Mr. Richardson doesn't match the time of death given by the coroner, Dr. Phillips.
What was the time of death, according to him?
Before 4:30 in the morning.
Yes, and there are other witnesses.
My conclusions were the same. Were there any other conflicting testimonies?
Well, 2 other witnesses summoned at the preliminary inquest gave testimony, but in these cases too, the times don't match.
Do you remember what it was they said?
I didn't question them myself. A colleague of mine took down their statements on paper, but on deciding they were of little use, he tore them up and threw them in the bin. There's no point in being bogged down with useless paperwork.
Ah, goodbye, sir.
I will take my leave, Humphreys.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Goodbye. So that's our clue to steal the testimony from the trash can. Because it's important, right? We gotta check the witness testimony. And I don't know what this is. Is this a list of suspects, maybe? I think it might be old police report. Maybe it's a reference to a different Sherlock Holmes
An old report
game.
on arrests
I don't know.
that took place a few years earlier.
Yes. Zoom
Here
in.
are the ripped statements. I can piece them together again.
Dramatic zoom in on the trash can. All right, let's get all these pieces of paper together. We're going to have two testimonies, one on the left and one on the right. So Kadosh, that's actually the testimony on the right. So let me move that testimony. So let's see, that doesn't match there, and it doesn't match there. So this has to be one of those two spots. This has to be a down at the bottom. Okay, there's another one at the top. Testimony of Mr. Long. Well, there we go. Testimony of A. Kadosh, not A. Kardash. That might go there. Where's the other? Here we go. Yep, that piece does go there. And that piece goes there. Not there. There. So we are going to have a puzzle to get this testimony figured out. I believe I mentioned that earlier. I'm not going to solve that puzzle quite yet, and I don't know where this piece of paper goes. I'll just put it back for now. Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe I have this piece wrong. Maybe that would explain it. Yeah, there we go. That was it. I had that bottom piece. Completely incorrect. Alright. That's a piece which goes in the middle. That goes there. Very easy now that we've got most of the pieces in place.
There,
And we
all
have
done. Holmes couldn't have done better himself.
And we are going to get a third testimony from this gentleman. We'll just talk to him. He'll tell us.
May I introduce myself? I'm Dr. Watson. I am...
You wouldn't be the chap what writes the detective stories in that there paper?
Well, yes, indeed, my stories have been published in the Strand.
Go blimey, wanna tell me old mum?
It would seem your testimony is the subject of some debate. Could you tell me what it was about?
They'll be telling I'm a bit befuddled about the times that I told them. But it can't be so. I knows what I sees and what I don't sees that morning.
What did you see, or what didn't you see? And at what time, would you say?
I'll tell you this for nothing. It's me old mum who lives at the house where the body was found out back in the garden. She has her shop at the bottom to the right of the stairs. Her door was broken down not too far back because it's a real zoo it is. Right, the morning it happened, I head that way to see if me old mum has finally had the place broken into. It was 4:45 when I got there. That I'll swear on me dear old mum's life. I had a look round to see if the cellar had been taken. No. I had a little sit down on the stairs by the courtyard because me shoes were causing me no end of pain and I had a cut and all. I didn't seize a single thing below the steps, Doctor, not one single thing. If there was some bird all covered in blood, tain't no how I could have missed that, even if it were night time. Right, 5 minutes after getting to number 29, I had to clip off. And now they tells me that either I can't tell time no more, or I was fixing me loafer next to a stiff that was still steaming. All right then, evening gents.
So he passed by the crime scene. That's basically what he's saying. It's like, hi, I passed by the crime scene. I didn't see any dead bodies, okay? So the murder must have taken place after that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And yeah, he's correct. And I really wish we could do the puzzle right now. The puzzle of figuring out what's up with the testimonies and analyzing the testimonies. Now that we've got all three of them, and Watson is running against the gentleman who's in his way. Come on, Watson, you could do it. You could do it. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. What Watson wants to do now is finish up with that Dr. Tumblety stuff. You might remember the cobbler promised to give us a bunch of harnesses for prosthetic legs, It's been a couple of days. Maybe he has finished those harnesses.
Good evening, Mr. Solomonovich.
Good evening, Doctor. What a pleasure to see you again.
So, harnesses?
Have you finished converting the harnesses?
Yes, just now. I got a little behind because of all the commotion.
Oh, what commotion?
Commotion?
Don't you start. 3 days ago, the very afternoon that you passed by, there was a chase throughout the neighborhood. Hundreds of people were chasing one man, claiming he was responsible for the murders these last few days. Schmonz! It was awful. I hope those maniacs didn't catch him. Better the police should.
Alright, so there was an angry mob that passed through the neighborhood right after Watson left. Poor Watson, he has terrible timing.
Tell me, did John Pizer turn himself in to the police?
Things unfolded as they should. Look in the newspaper, the Daily News from today.
Farewell, Isaac.
Goodbye, Doctor.
So here's the newspaper about the Whitechapel murders. I think it's going to say that Leather, what was his name? Leather Apron, okay. Leather Apron is innocent. Yes, he is completely innocent. Good. So, we proved that man's innocence. Still, that nickname, Leather Apron, ooh, he sounds like a Batman villain, doesn't he? So now that we have the harnesses, we can give them to the doctor. Dr. Gibbons will give us the cane for them, and then we can give the cane to Bella in exchange for information about Dr. Tumblety. That's why we're doing all this.
Good evening, Dr. Gibbons.
Dr. Watson.
Did you keep the cane we spoke of last time?
I was going to sell it tomorrow, would you believe, having not heard word.
So you're going to give it to me now, right? Oh.
Well, farewell, Doctor.
Goodbye, Dr. Watson.
I must retrieve Sickert's cane at all costs.
Right, the way the game works is I have to actually be holding this in my hand so I can trade it for the cane.
Yes, Doctor?
Here are your harnesses, Doctor.
They are top quality, I'd say. Definitely worth the price of this walking stick. Here, it's yours.
Thank you, sir.
Well, farewell, Doctor.
Goodbye, Dr. Watson.
We're also going to want to use...
I must go to Miss Bella's.
We're also going to want to use the pill on Dr. Gibson, because this was the pill that the most recent victim had in her envelope.
Yes, Doctor?
Could you tell me what type of pill this is?
Yes, we have those here. It's not really a medication. We give them to patients with chronic respiratory conditions like tuberculosis.
Ah, all right.
Did you have a patient by the name of Annie Chapman, the woman killed 3 days ago?
Indeed. She came in the morning of her death. Poor woman.
Did you give her these pills?
Yes, now that I think of it. She actually came in twice. The first time I gave her an almost empty container without making her pay. She came back during the day and said she dropped the container and stepped on the pills. She wanted to know if I could give her more again without paying. I refused. After she left, a patient who was there told me that he lives at the same place and confided that she had been lying. He saw the pills fall in the tenement's communal kitchen, but the woman immediately wrapped them up in a piece of paper.
Where did this paper come from?
According to this man, she'd found it near the chimney in the kitchen.
Anyone could have thrown that paper there. That envelope can't have anything to do with the murder.
Pardon, Doctor?
Nothing. I was just talking to myself.
Ah, so the envelope has nothing to do with the murder. Annie was just trying to get pills for free. That's all.
Do you have any formalin here?
No, definitely not. They have it in university hospitals to conserve anatomical specimens in jars. But in a little clinic like mine, we don't keep anything but bad memories.
Well, farewell, Doctor.
Goodbye, Dr. Watson.
I must go to Miss Bella's.
All right, so we found out everything we can from this guy. We're going to Miss Bella's. We're going to give her that cane. So right over here. There she is. So let me grab the cane. I need it in my hand so I can give it to her.
Good evening, ma'am. Your door was open. Isn't that a little dangerous?
Hello, Doctor. Don't worry, if the looks of anyone who enters doesn't please me, me and my pistol know how to convince them to leave.
I do see she has a pistol next to her on the counter.
I found the cane that was stolen from your client. Here it is.
Doctor, you are a real saint, I can see that. I'll finally be able to present my bill to this damned painter. If by chance you see him, tell him that a little surprise awaits him here.
We are, in fact, going to see him, so that's good. Now will you keep up your end of the bargain?
You told me you would give me some information on this Dr. Tumblety.
Agreed. He's a Canadian or an American. He parades from time to time through the neighbourhood in a 50-guinea suit and acts like a doctor. But for business, he isn't worth it. This damn Yankee hates women. The few times that he was approached by the girls, he spit on them, all the while hurling insults. It would seem that he was hunting for the bad boys. He's looking for trouble, that animal.
Does he frequent any pub in particular?
Aye, the Wasp's Nest on Burner Street, I think. A seedy spot even by our standards.
I see. We are going to go there and meet Dr. Tumblety, or at least we're going to try. It's kind of interesting that Watson doesn't ask for a description of the man so he can recognize Dr. Tumblety, because that would be so useful and helpful.
Do you happen to know Annie Chapman, the poor woman who was killed 3 days ago?
Dark Annie? Like all the drifters in the area, I've seen her once or twice. With respect to the dead, Annie really was the bottom of the barrel.
What do you mean?
Well, in our profession, the pretty young ones go out when night has barely fallen and don't have a problem finding takers. But poor girls like Annie or Polly Nichols, who aren't as tender and are often sick, sometimes trudge around for a whole night in the cold and the rain before landing a client. And that doesn't help their appearances either. They don't have much choice about paying for a bed for a few hours, a glass of gin or a hot meal.
How terribly sad.
That's the price of survival in Whitechapel, my angel. One of my girls knew Annie for some time. They bought some jewellery on the black market, I think.
Jewellery? How could Annie Chapman have possibly afforded jewellery?
Luxuries for a woman are always relative to her condition, Doctor. As a matter of fact, it was real cheap junk. Annie got 3 assorted brass rings, I think. It's been said I have a memory for jewellery.
Well, she was wearing rings when she was killed, so that matches what Miss Bella's saying.
How is Lucy keeping?
She's doing well, Doctor, but believe me, it won't last. Rare are the girls who can build a future in our profession.
Very well, I shall let you get back to work, Ma.
See you soon, my love.
Well, hopefully Lucy will be able to find a better condition once she stops having to take care of her poor sick uncle. That might help her out a bit. So here is the pub. Here's the pub. I also probably want to go visit Finley again, because Dr. Tumblety is Finley's,
There is a strong smell of gas. It seems to be coming from the abandoned building.
I think that's actually the building where Tumblety is. That building.
There is a strong smell of gas. It seems to be coming from the abandoned building.
Let's see, but I think we solve this puzzle later. I don't think we're going to enter the building now. For now, let's just talk to Finley.
Good evening, Finley. How are you?
Oh, good evening, Doctor. So. And you?
Well, what's that weird smell?
It smells of gas here.
You might say, Doctor, without wanting to speak ill of the force, I have to wonder if the police are up to something.
What do you mean?
Well, I was outside yesterday evening when the light went out at my place, and a gas smell came from the abandoned building across from my place. And a minute later, The police arrived and were snooping all around like it was them who hid the gas before arriving.
How mysterious.
Have things sorted themselves out with your strange tenant?
Don't talk about it, Doctor. That man is truly bizarre. He goes to the most sordid locations once night falls. 3 days ago, my wife told me she saw him come in with blood-stained clothes and a fearsome look.
Oh no. Ah yes, and we're finally getting a description of Dr. Tumblety. Great.
Interesting. What does he look like, and how old is he?
Oh, he's my age, give or take, so the other side of 50. He's always dressed in a striking manner with an American hat. He's big, close to 5'11", I'd say. He has a strange voice, not just his accent, see, his voice.
All right.
Very well. Goodbye for now, Finley.
Goodbye, Doctor.
You know,
Now then, let's go to the police station.
Okay, I know where I'm gonna go next. But you think if we wanted to meet Dr. Tumblety this badly, we could just, hang around here? It's been 3 days, right? We spent 3 days doing nothing. Holmes was just hiding inside his room, not doing anything. Watson easily could have just been hanging around here for those 3 days, waiting for Dr. Tumblety to come back to his apartment. Just perch himself by the front door. That probably would have been good. So let's see what the police have to say here. I don't see anything new or different here. Maybe Humphreys has something new to say.
Yes, Doctor?
Ah, yes. What do you know about Tumblety?
By the way, have you heard of a Dr. Tumblety?
No. Is it important?
Yes. Well, no, maybe. Actually, I don't know. I have heard about this man, his frequent nocturnal outings and bizarre behaviour.
What does this chap look like, Doctor? And where can we find him?
Well, we can find him inside that pub, but it looks like I can't talk to you about that. Okay, then. Let's talk about the murders.
So, how far along are the investigations into these 2 recent murders?
Everyone around here believes both crimes were committed by the same man. But as for the Hanbury Street and Bucks Row crimes, nobody has heard or seen a thing.
Unfortunate.
The last I heard was that he was staying at Finley's place, the man who was looking for me a few days ago.
It would greatly assist us if you could ask Finley what your strange associate looks like. We could then see if the description matches any witness accounts.
Okay.
Tumblety is a man around 5'11", about 55 years old, extravagantly dressed and with a rather distinctive voice. He boards at Finley's. You should know where that is, as the police were there only yesterday. Their arrival coincided with a strange gas leak.
Ah, yes, I know where you mean. Indeed, there was an odd affair with the gas. It was rather unsettling. We were searching for a well-known scoundrel who was ratted out by Squibby, the chap we followed and saved from the pack a few days ago. This thug, no pity Bluto, must have been in the abandoned building in question. But there was no sign of him when we arrived. Furthermore, an inspector said that, given the smell, the thingamabob that supplies gas to the building was probably damaged. So we took no risks and were called away somewhere else.
Okay, so that's the story of the gas leak.
I will take my leave, Humphreys.
Goodbye, Doctor.
We'll be investigating the gas leak and stuff later on, not right now. I still find it so odd that we're just putting so much work into finding this Tumblety guy because Finley was like, well, he lives here and he's kind of suspicious, so why don't you dedicate 5 hours of your life just to finding him, okay? All right, Finley.
Anything else?
That sounds good.
Very well. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So I think the last place for us to visit is the pub. Let's see if we can find Dr. Tumblety here at the pub.
The Wasp's Nest. This pub looks even more disreputable than the Golden Lion in Baker Street.
Bad-mouthing the Golden Lion, huh? That's not very nice. So we've got a bunch of people here. Oh, I know you. I know you. You're the cane owner.
Good evening, sir.
Well, I know you. Why, we met at Miss Poolman's the other day. So you've come to slum it in Whitechapel, eh?
Well, not really. Hold on a
Well,
second.
I will continue my search.
Love.
So we met here, and he's like, "Oh, well, now you're in the same part of town." It's like, dude, we were 2 blocks away from each other, okay? And where's that cane? Where's that cane? I thought I had my cane in my inventory. Do I not?
Good evening, sir.
Okay, well, let's ask about Tumblety.
Do you know Dr. Tumblety? A Canadian or American chap. Quite an extravagant dresser. Frequents this pub now and then.
Are you intimate?
No. What do you mean by that?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. I just wanted to prove my discretion concerning this man, in so much and so far as I know him. You wouldn't like it if one day the tables were turned and everyone was talking about why you were in the borough. Isn't that so?
Well, I'm just remembering. I gave the cane to Miss Bella, and she says she has a surprise for you, a giant bill.
As it happens, I saw Miss Pullman recently. She told me that she couldn't wait to see you again. She said something about a surprise that is waiting for you at her establishment.
Why, that is some of the best news I've heard, my friend. As thanks, I would like to let you in on a secret. The man that you were talking about, and whom I happen to know by sight, passed by and went through that little door that you see over there. Another man let him in. They weren't together for more than a few minutes, to be sure, eh?
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Well, I will continue my search.
Love.
But what is this person trying to imply? This matter is beyond me.
Yeah, Sickert is kind of a slimeball and not a very nice person, so Dr. Watson feels no remorse in basically sending him to receive a giant bill. Sickert's gonna owe a bunch of money to Miss Bella now. So let's see.
Hey, you can't go in there. It's private. Got it?
But I need to talk to the guy on the other side of the door. I need to talk to Tumblety.
Hey, you can't go in there. It's private. Got it?
Oh, man. All right, okay. Let's see. We've got an item to pick up here.
This is the sink where the barmaid puts the glasses to soak. Look, red ink. What's that doing here? The bottle is closed. There must still be some ink inside, and it looks like a glass. The barmaid must have put ink into the sink by mistake.
Right. Do I get in your way? Me?
You're
If you'll excuse me, sir.
You're kind of in the middle of my way. You refuse to let me go meet Dr. Tumblety. So that's kind of mean, Mr. Barman. So I believe we need to talk to the barman now.
Greetings, my good man. Could I have a pint?
Here, Gov.
I've been told that Dr. Tumblety might be found around here. Is that so?
I don't do a roll call of all the drunkards here. I've got my hands full just making sure I get their money.
Don't people pay when they order?
Nah, look at that little scribbler there. Completely dead drunk. Tonight's tally is about as long as his arm. If he skips out, I'll be in for a guinea almost.
What's behind that locked door over there? Can I go in?
Not likely. And let me be unless you're wanting a drink. Got it?
Goodbye, my friend.
Oi, that's it.
So we have a very angry bartender. And we have this man.
Good evening, sir.
It'll be the coup of my career, Governor said. Ha! You'll make loads of dots of the paper, he said.
You're a journalist?
That's so. Tom Bulling at your service. The Whitechapel ferret, the wizard with the scoop.
You don't appear to be in a state to write anything, my friend.
You're mistaken. Whiskey passes through the blood and turns into ink. Simple. You see, mugs and inkwells are all the same.
Don't you think you should settle your tab and go home?
My red ink? Where's my red ink? I won't even pay half a halfpenny if they don't return my red ink. It's my blood, you hear?
Very well, I'll be on my way.
So this is a puzzle. We need to get the red ink to the man to get rid of him. That way the bartender will like us and let us into the door.
You're the best. The boss told me. My red ink. Where's she be?
Right here.
I found your red ink, my friend. You should settle up and head home.
Thank you, my friend, thank you. The spring-heeled phantom will be revived.
Good. So do you like me now, bartender?
Gov?
Here you go. It's on the journalist, my friend.
I owe you one. The next one is on me. What'll it be?
Nothing, thanks. But I may need your help. Listen, my friend, I would like you to let me in the door over there.
You're a bobby? A peeler?
Absolutely not, my friend. I am a doctor.
Fine. I owe you this at least. There's a bloke behind that door there. No pity Bluto. Let's just say he wants to lay low for a moment. So I don't think he'll be opening the door just now. Unless... Tell him you have word from Squibby. They'll open the door. But who can say what'll happen when the door closes?
Thank you very much.
Goodbye, my friend.
Oi, that's it.
Might as well talk to the barmaid here.
Oi, what'll it be to drink, Gav?
Oh, she doesn't have anything to say.
Oi, what'll it be to drink, Gav?
All she does is take drink orders. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll end the video here. In the next video, we will open the door, and we will finally get to see Dr. Tumblety. Maybe. It's more likely we'll be forced to do a lot of chores before we can finally meet Dr. Tumblety.